Before we begin, if you've ever felt betrayed by the people who were supposed to protect you, subscribe to the channel. And when this story ends, tell me in the comments, what would you have done in my place? I didn't open the envelope right away. Instead, I placed it carefully on the kitchen counter and studied it from a distance. The slight curve of the paper, the neat handwriting, each letter shaped slowly, thoughtfully, as if someone had practiced sounding gentle before committing ink to the page. My fingers trembled, though I couldn't tell whether it was from old memories surfacing or from holding something that felt unexpectedly fragile. Suddenly, I was 12 again. I was standing beneath the harsh flicker of a gas station light somewhere outside Des Moines, the wind cutting through my thin jacket as my parents' car disappeared into the dark. I can still hear their voices. Toughen up. Find your own way home. No hesitation. No backup plan. Just a shrinking pair of red taillights and a cloud of exhaust drifting into the night. I remember curling up behind a dumpster, pulling my knees to my chest, trying to make myself small enough to stay warm, small enough to be unseen. The steady rumble of trucks on the highway became my only company. That was the night I learned my first real lesson about being alone. After that, I never spoke to my parents again. Not because I hated them. I didn't. But distance became the only way I knew how to protect myself. I learned early that boundaries aren't politely requested, they are built. And once built, they must be guarded. Life felt steadier that way. Predictable. I memorized the rules of emotional survival. I practiced avoidance like it was a skill. It kept me safe. It kept me sane. Now, at 29 years old, I stood in my kitchen staring at a wedding invitation. My brother's name, Alex, was printed in large, cheerful letters across the card. Tucked inside was a folded note from my parents. It began the way careful confessions often do. We know we failed you. We can't change the past, but we hope you'll come to Alex's wedding. It would mean so much to us, Madison. The words were meant to pull at something soft inside me. But they landed differently. They weren't true apologies, not complete ones. They felt more like invitations stitched together with expectation. Beneath the surface, I sensed a quiet pressure I hadn't felt in years. My chest tightened first. Then my mind shifted into analysis, cool and methodical. I poured myself a cup of coffee and sat at the table, staring at the note as if it were a puzzle missing key pieces. Could I forgive them? Did I even want to attend? My stomach twisted as memories replayed. The freezing wind. The metallic smell of trash. The sound of my teeth chattering while cars sped by, unaware that a child was hiding in the dark. Then I thought about my life now. I had my own apartment. A steady career. A partner who would never leave me stranded beneath a gas station light. My days moved in a rhythm of responsibility and safety. Attending the wedding might feel like reconciliation. Or it might feel like reopening something I had carefully sealed. Slowly, a realization formed. The decision itself belonged to me. That night long ago, my parents hadn't given me safety. They hadn't given me protection. But they hadn't taken away the adult I would eventually become, the one who could choose. I drafted a response. Deleted it. Wrote another. Deleted that one too. Every sentence felt like testing a boundary I wasn't sure they even recognized anymore. Eventually, I reached out. Not to my parents, not to my brother, but to the wedding planner. I asked simple, practical questions. Was attendance expected for the entire weekend? Were there specific roles assigned to family members? The planner replied in a professional, neutral tone, outlining schedules, deadlines, and guest guidelines. Her message reminded me that this wasn't just emotional, it was logistical. My decision would have a visible impact. It mattered. I picked up the envelope again. The weight of the past pressed against me, but this time it didn't crush me. It reminded me of who I had become. The adult who survived that cold night. The young girl who learned to navigate abandonment. The woman who built her own sense of safety from nothing. I wasn't bitter. I was aware. I wasn't hopeful. I was cautious. And then I decided. I would attend, but on my own terms. I would not slip back into the old roles of guilt or silent endurance. I would not shrink myself to keep anyone comfortable. I would show up not as the frightened 12-year-old left behind, but as the woman who had learned how to stand firm. I wrote my RSVP slowly, deliberately, with steady hands. I will attend Alex's wedding. I look forward to celebrating with him. No extra explanations. No emotional offerings. No apologies. Just a clear statement of fact. The invitation did not suddenly feel joyful. It wasn't redemption. But it carried a different kind of weight now, the weight of adulthood. A clear line drawn between who I was and who I am. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. I imagined that 12-year-old girl behind the dumpster, trembling in the cold. Then I imagined myself now, 29 years later, gently closing the door on her fear. My parents may not have changed. I hadn't expected them to. But I had changed. For the first time in decades, I felt the quiet power of choice. Not forgiveness. Not victory. Not even closure. Just control. Just dignity. Just the steady knowledge that I could move forward as my full self, without erasing the past and without surrendering to it. And in its own quiet way, that was enough.